Good morning, everybody. Mike Vacchi, Princetontrader.com, here with your Friday morning pre-market webcast. Okay, so we've gotten through the ECB, we've gotten through Comey, we've gotten through the UK election. We're in the middle of the roll. I'm not a big trade the roll day guy. Okay, it's not my favorite day to trade. There's about a 2.25 handle spread between the June contract and the September contract. I'm trading September today. What we're seeing though is a move back to we saw a move to the weekly pivot right off of the open in Globex last night down in the 24 area on September, and now it's kind of bounced back into this 31 to 34 half area, the 5-minute chart. So here on the hourly, your weekly pivot for the June contract is 26.63. It makes your weekly pivot on the September contract about 24.38. So what you can see here is we traded just past it. It held again. So you've got weekly pivot holding for 3 days in a row. They broke up out of it. They did not do a higher high. Now we're in a situation where the only thing that's left is for the bulls to make a new all-time high. That's all that's left on the upside to be done. And each one of these moves, whether you're talking about 24.40 on the June contract or 37.75-ish on the September contract, it has been resistance. It has been rejected. So here's your September contract. 37 is your all-time high. 36.75 was yesterday. We moved back into 35.75 as your high from Globex. So you exchange 24.40 for 24.37, and you've got you essentially have the same deal. You have the same deal that's going on. Here's your weekly pivot, 24.38, held, and held. Okay, so you get a decent lay of the land. The one thing I would look at today is hourly mid-band. Wants to be support. Daily pivot here, the purple dotted line, wants to be support. But I have to level with you. Roll day, after all this news, in a week that's been very good for us in the room, I'm not super excited about doing a lot of trades today. It's not going to be a really active Friday for me. And it's not going to be a really active Friday in our room because we've basically doubled our goals for the week. You add on the doubling our goals in oil, and for us, we'll kind of let the roll work itself out, and we'll be back to trade a new week fresh come Monday. That said, if it starts to behave really well, we'll absolutely take advantage of it. My concern is we're going to want to chop around here between 37 and say 30, 31. If that's the case, then we won't participate much. And and my suggestion to all of you out there is, if that's the case, there's no real reason to participate much. There are typically, historically, better days to trade than the Friday during the roll. That's just me. Okay? All right, let's look at oil real quick. So, we had a really nice short Wednesday. We ended up getting long 45.38, and that turned that into a nice little, reflexive bounce long. It actually didn't get as much of a reflexive bounce as I thought we would. So now you've got a lower high, and they're starting to turn it down. I was long overnight. I made a little bit, and then I got stopped out. So right now what I'm looking for is you got 45.20. You got 45.20, 45.27. So what I want to see is where is this headed? So far, 45 half. If it ends up being another higher low versus here and here, and you can get up over the top of 46, then maybe you get a little bit more of a reflexive bounce. But for me, it is still a situation where it is counter trend. Because when you get out on the daily chart in oil, so here's your daily. You still have a band ride. they're going to have to do a little bit more on the downside. 45.19 right now is your lower band. 45.27 isn't going to cut it. So if they want to engage the lower band, they're going to have to, go do it. Weekly pivot remains 48.23, obviously. You've got the 9-day simple coming down at 47.38. So, the potential for a reflexive bounce is decent, but for now, it's heavy. So long as you're counter trend, you get paid, you get your risk out. If it doesn't come to fruition, it doesn't come to fruition. You don't get stubborn on the long side. At the same time, with as much downside as we've seen since 52, I have trouble chasing anything to the short side except something that follows a decent bounce. All right, that's all I've got. Everybody have a fantastic Friday. I will catch you guys for the oil update and the midday update. Follow us over on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat at Princetontrader. Check us out on Facebook and join us for a free trial at www.princetontrader.com. Trade 'em well.